Hello, everyone. This is a kind of Cliff Notes version of what we've been working on Nowhere Village in our meditation practice. We have been connecting the teachings from one of my favorite meditation texts, the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. We're connecting some teachings from that text with how we approach meditation. And I wanted to quickly give you a taste of what this is all about, a little introduction. And if you've been studying this stuff with me for a while, it also might be nice just to kind of see it really quick, simple, like this. So in the Yoga Sutras, Patanjali tells us about what meditation is, and he tells us about what's going to arise in terms of obstacles. How are we going to get tripped up in our meditation practice? And this is the sign of a great teacher, in my opinion, and guide, is somebody who, it's like, okay, I've walked this road before, and there's like a big hole right there. You won't see it coming, but I fell in it once, right? And so I'm going to be helping you avoid the pitfalls that maybe I have fallen into, or at least pack the right stuff so that you can climb out, so that you can find your way back to the path. That to me attracts me to a teacher, because it says to me that they really care about me and me thriving in my practice, and they really believe, they really care about the practices. I really want you to succeed in your meditation journey. If hanging out with me and meditating isn't your bag, fine. But I would love today to give you maybe even just one word or phrase or idea that helps you stay with it when it gets tough. Because like all journeys that are worth it, it totally will, So I pass along this teaching from a great teacher of mine who has really helped me as I've stumbled through the more challenging aspects of my practice and my life's journey. And the teaching I'm going to share with you today is the teaching that I do a longer exposition of in the Wednesday morning talk that I gave earlier today. But I'm going to give it to you real quick here. And usually this section, or this teaching, is referred to as the Kleshas. And Klesha means obstacle, or it could be translated as a root of suffering. And Patanjali tells us in Yoga Sutra 2.3, he says that there are 5 obstacles on the path, and that these are what they are. So avidya means, it means ignorance is usually how it's translated, or lack of wisdom. Vidya means wisdom, and you put the A in front of it, so it's like something that's blocking wisdom from your experience. And but one way we can look at this really simply in practice, in meditation practice, we are going to do a short meditation at the end of this. A really simple way to work with it is just to think about it as the narratives, as the stories. So an avidya is not just, I just don't know. Not knowing is great in meditation, right? Actually, being in the unknown with comfort and ease, okay, right? That's almost a definition of a deep meditation. That's not a problem. What's a problem is when we have a wrong idea. Because if I have the wrong idea, that's the blockage to wisdom. That's the blockage to just the universe letting me know what's up. Okay, so in your meditation practice, this is how you work with this klesha. When it comes up, when there's stories, stop empowering the stories. Some of the stories might be nice stories that you're telling yourself or hearing inside your head about what a good job you did or whatever. Some of the stories might not feel so good inside. we respond to both sides pretty much the same, which is with a letting go. Just don't keep feeding the stories. Come back to whatever you've chosen as your meditation touchstone. Usually I begin with just the breath, the feeling of the breath. Oh, there it is again. Oh, there's a story. Oh, back to the breath. And you'll find the story will like not necessarily disappear right away. I mean, we'll see what happens. It really depends. But it's almost like at that point, you let the story become the background. Right now there's sounds of birds and I can still talk to you because I can, and I kind of like the sound, you know, but I can be in relationship with things in my periphery. And so allow the narratives when you meditate to kind of drift to the periphery and let what's central be something more intimate, a feeling, or maybe you're working with a mantra or a visualization. Let me know if you want more clarity about that. I will make as many videos about stuff that you need as you need. Okay. Asmita. Now, he says that once we have avidya, all these other ones become possible. So as soon as we get sort of stories, as soon as we get that storytelling capacity, it makes possible these other experiences of suffering, basically. Oh, and avidya, check out for yourself the suffering, how this can be a cause of suffering, being stuck in the stories, and why so many of us turn to meditation in order to go beyond or under, or, you know, to get a little space from those stories. Okay. Asmita is your ego, is usually how it's translated. In the text, he says, actually in a different part of the text, he says that really it's a sense of separateness. So the ego is an identity, me. It's an idea of me. And in meditation, we spend, and it's okay, right? It's okay to have narratives and it's okay to have an ego. Hey, right? We make peace with we actually make peace with the fact that there are kleshas. Our teachers had kleshas too. Patanjali ostensibly had kleshas. That's how he came up with the teaching. So my dear teacher had it, I can have it too, right? It's okay, right? We have an ego. But the training that's happening in meditation, which ultimately he says meditation is the unwinding of these kleshas. The work that's happening through meditation is we're learning how to relate to the world in a way that isn't always sort of defending or promoting this separate identity. It's being able to sit and be with everything and be in the interconnectedness of being. Whoa, that probably sounds like I'm not advanced to just be with the interconnectedness of being, Erin. Like, this video is not for me. So how do we practice this? Really kind of the same way we practice avidya, which is notice when there's a lot of me, I'm protecting me, or I'm performing me, right? I've been in meditation retreats where I've been sort of performing for the cute guy across the room, you know, performing my meditation. And it feels like it's so much energy to be protecting the ego. And meditation is your break from that. Nobody's watching you. There's no one to perform for, and no one's gonna, well, if you gotta get yourself to a safe space to meditate, right? If I'm in the middle of a space where I might get robbed when I'm meditating, it's gonna be very difficult to get rid of that sense of separateness. And probably that's not the time to get rid of my sense of separateness. Maybe that's not the moment for meditation. I don't know, at least not for this deeper practice, yeah? So feel that you can be in a safe space when you meditate, and one where you don't have to protect yourself or promote yourself. And when you feel that sense, it'll come up anyway. I mean, it'll come up. It's come up for me, you know, in the middle of the woods for days by myself. So what I'm saying is, when you notice that sense of need, protection, or projection, promotion, performance, soften. Just let it go. See if there's something else. Like, let it go to the periphery and see if there's something else that you can make central. Your meditation object, right? The feeling of being. Raga is attachment. And so this is the experience of yearning. It's simply yearning for something, you know? And again, yearning isn't bad. I'm going to give a longer talk next Wednesday morning where I talk about this a little bit. How do we almost find a positive version of all these kleshas? It can be a really cool exercise. But in this case, in meditation, we're not trying to find anything new. We're just learning how to soften when we feel ourselves in that attachment desire mode. Figure out how to do that for yourself. Sometimes I just tell myself, honey, not now. You know, you can have your cookie later. Okay? You're meditating. Just go back to the breath. You know, negotiate with yourself however you need to. But the idea is find a way to just soften that feeling that there's something missing that I need. Right? Because again, here we are, it causes suffering. Asmita, that sense of separateness, it's a huge amount of energy. It's, you know, and raga is also, they all work together. This is a big thing. This is an important thing. Okay, they all mutually, you know, promote each other. So it's a kind of negative cycle, self-reinforcing cycle. So that experience of give me is again a grasping and a fear. It is a fearful experience. Devesha is the opposite, right? Pushing away. And often we'll be doing one with one hand and one with the other, right? My cookie, not yours, right? However we're doing it, Devesha is that feeling of like war, of no. It can come up as negative emotions like anger in your practice, you know? And again, we just see, oh, that's Devesha. My teacher told me about that. Yeah, I got that too. Guess I'm a human. And the technique, again, is the simplest thing in the world. It's like, it's basically saying, okay, here's one way, you know, you negotiate with yourself as you need to get yourself back out of Devesha. But for me, one of the things I say to myself is, what if we did an experiment and just let that annoying noise be outside without having to go outside and, I don't know, yell at the neighbor or do something to try to stop it? What if I just let that be for a little bit? What if I go back to the breath and let that go to the periphery? And over time, you start to get this experience. You can see how Raga and Devesha go together, but start to get this experience that whenever we feel like there's something missing or there's something extra we don't want, right? There's something, anytime we're in a push or a pull, we're not getting that sense of presence that we came to meditation for. So what do? We soften. Go back to breathing. We go back to being with things as they are. And finally, Abhini Vesha is the last klesha, and it is fear. And specifically fear of death, fear of change, fear of endings, fear of scary things, you know? But inevitable things that are gonna arise. And so what we find is that all these other things, when we're really engaging a lot in our stories and we're engaging a lot in our sense of self and working really hard to protect that, and of course these all go together, right? What does it look like me protecting myself? It looks like me raga, pulling in for myself, and devesha, you know, protecting my stuff. And that is a way of being in the world that's very sort of manipulative and controlling. It reinforces a story, a narrative, an avidya, that the world is against me. I'm separate from it. I have to grab from it. If I want to get my needs met, I have to push away and reject it or hurt it, you know, or avoid it somehow if I want to stay safe from it. from the world, from life. And then we get fear. We get fear of certain parts of life, certain inevitable parts of life that really aren't here to hurt us at all. And as we do this cycle, right, we reinforce this story that we're not safe. We reinforce the story we don't belong. We reinforce the story of separateness and alienness, and the story that we've got to always be working so hard to be here. And meditation is the experience of being in peace. And so we're going to meditate now just for a couple minutes. I'll record it on audio, so I'm going to stop the video now, and I'll give you guys a link if you want to join for that.